Aiman. Congratulations on what can only be described as the biggest win of your career. I know it's been a while since the fight actually wrapped, so I guess just what are the emotions now that the dust has settled after not just a big win, but like a very impressive fight all around?
Yeah, it was an incredible feeling. I felt like $1 million after the fight. I felt really good. I felt like we won it. You know, I finished the fight super strong. And GSP told me that actually when he missed weight by 8 pounds, the first thing George told me about it was, this is going to be so good for the story. This is going to be incredible for the story. You know, not only are you fighting a legend in the sport, you're fighting him and you weighed 8 pounds less than him. You had to move up in weight for him. And then getting rocked in the fight adds to the story, adds to the adversity. I overcame it all. So I feel incredible right now.
Is that the type of fight you expected in there? Because obviously Aldo, I mean, I'm sure you saw the videos. He was very annoyed at his last fight, and he was hoping for someone to stand in front of him. And you basically stood inches away from him that entire fight. So is that what you expected in there?
Yeah, I did no wrestling for this camp. I expected us to brawl in the center. I think his last fight really made him upset, and I love to strike. You know, and Merab Davishvili is, you know, the best wrestler in the bantamweight division. He couldn't even take him down, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to waste my time shooting on him. I wanted to strike. I wanted to outdo him on the feet. You know, I didn't outdo him as much as I wanted to. I thought it would go better in the feet. I thought I'd get the hang of it much more. But because of the weight miss, what was playing in the back of my head was that I dehydrated myself 8 pounds more than he did. So I wanted to start much slower than normal because I didn't know if I would take the shots worse than he would take the shots because I dehydrated myself 8 pounds more. I lost so much more water than he did. So I was expecting him to take the shots better. But then in the middle of round 2, I started smiling because I was like, you know what? His shots ain't that bad. His shots ain't that bad. But they were fast. They were fast. He's got quick hands still at his age. You know, he's a legend. I just told him backstage he's going to be remembered forever. You know, and I'm hoping that I gave him a great fight at the end. That was an emotional roller coaster for everybody. And it's a fight that it's a good one to retire on in the sense that, you know, we gave people a war.
And I was going to ask this at the end, but I'll ask now since you brought it up. Like, did you have any sense that that might have been his last one before this? And then I know you were on the highest of highs, but then when Aldo announces like one of the most beloved fighters on the roster now, his retirement, it's the focus goes to him, obviously. But like, what was your reaction?
You know, I was surprised because he kept saying that he's going for a title run. You know, he kept saying, I'm going for a title run. I'm not done with this. You know, he wanted to win the belt at 135. I heard him say that a few times in different interviews, not just in the same one. So I didn't think he was going to retire. And I'll be honest with you, you know, most MMA guys, they like to stick around a little longer than they should. But I can never say anything bad about Aldo. He's a great guy, and I absolutely love him. And no one should ever forget how good of a fighter he is. And he gave me the fight of my life tonight. And I think he helped propel me. You know, it's almost like I could be the king of Montreal now after that performance. You know, people are going to respect my heart. You know, I told everyone I was going to fight with my whole heart in this fight, and I feel like I delivered.
Where do you think this pushes you in your career? Because as a win over Aldo, he might not be top 5, but he is Jose Aldo after all. So where do you go from here?
Well, I think they're gonna. I'm hoping that, you know, Tuesday I'm in the top 10. You know, and they give me somebody between 1 and 9. You know, that's what I'm hoping for. You know, it might happen, it may not happen. I want to say a big thank you to Sean Shelby for saving this fight. You know, he gave me a great offer, and I really appreciate everything he did for me to make this fight happen. You know, because it was in Montreal, and to say no, you know, 8 pounds is a big deal, man. You know, guys complain about 1, 2 pounds. I think Chris Eubank Jr. Paid his opponent $500,000 for missing 0.5 pounds. Okay, so I know the average person doesn't understand how much of a big deal it is, but you know, in the Army, they've done some tests before. You can look it up. You can check this out. If you dehydrate someone by 2%, the performance goes down by 6%. So I was much more dehydrated than him. So that's why I started off a little slower.
And then just last one for me. I don't know if you've seen the reaction, but the reaction was mixed over who people thought won the fight. So I guess, were you confident when it hit the judges' scorecard?
Well, I was confident because after round 1, I knew I lost round 1. Like, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that, you know. But that kind of was the plan because I wanted to see how hard he could hit and how well I take the shots. But after round 2, Firas told me straight, listen, it's 1-1. So then I knew, okay, I just got to win round 3. But then when he rocked me, I was like, oh, man, catch your breath, make some space, recover, win the next 15 seconds. I ended up winning the next 2.5 minutes. You know, and he was done. And he was even holding my gloves. And then to finish the fight, GSP was screaming, get him out of there, get him out of there. So when he grabbed onto me double underhooks, I just started slamming him with my chest into the ground. I wanted to get him out of there. I wanted to prove to everybody that I'm trying to finish this fight right now. And I'm closer to finishing the fight than he is. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Aiman right here. Congrats
sir.
on the win. Obviously, a huge one.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about the top 10, now you've got some healing up to do after a tough fight.
Yeah.
How important is it also to try and stay active this year? Because I know in the past
Yes.
it's been kind of a struggle for you.
Yeah, well, it's only been 6 months since my last one, and I feel like that's pretty good. And then I'm going to have another one this year. Depending on what they tell me about my concussion, I got rocked. It is what it is. I recovered super well. I'm going to see the PI. Actually, I'm going to take my family on vacation in Vegas. So I'll go swing by the PI as well and get tested and get everything done while I'm there. And see what the timeline is. Maybe September would be good.
And then I got to give you props for the suit at the press conference. Where'd you get that? Who's the tailor?
Guys, it's suitably. They gave me 4 suits for this week. I got to wear one every day for the media. I really appreciate them. Guys, if you're from Montreal, check them out. They make great custom suits. And the brothers, they work so well together.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Even just
Yes,
real
sir.
quick.
Oh, yep.
With
Who is it? Yeah? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
just last one in English, I think.
Yep.
Do you feel like he kind of put you with the weight miss, the late notice, kind of put you in an impossible situation? There was some word going around, like he said he wouldn't fight if you had to give some of you his purse and stuff. Like,
Oh, did he say? I didn't hear him say that.
no, I know that was some word going around. We didn't hear him say that, but did you feel like you were put in kind of a really difficult?
I was in a terrible spot, guys. I was between a rock and a hard place because, the last time they came to Montreal was 10 years ago. And I don't know if they're coming back. My wife hasn't seen me fight live in 5 years because I was on a hot streak. And I got the mental coach, and I feel top of my game. I got my wife front row tickets. Got my family coming, got my friends coming, got everyone coming here. And it's like, do I fight or do I not fight? And then it's like, if I wanted to become a legend, I would have to face adversity. I'd have to win when the odds were against me. And I felt like I did that today. And then even I got hurt in the fight and I came back. I felt like nobody can tell me my spot is given. It's definitely earned. And not too many people get to beat Jose Aldo at 145. So it's nice to be part of that club. Thank you.
Félicitations.
Merci.
Ce serait pour reprendre une question, mais pour le
Oui.
public français. Est-ce qu'on peut parler du troisième round?
Oui.
Où tu as trouvé l'énergie justement pour revenir? Et la partie technique, on entendait Georges et ton frère dire d'envoyer beaucoup de coudes, etc.
Oui.
Après la partie où justement Georges était devant et a poussé un peu la pression,
Oui.
comment tu as réussi à inverser la vapeur? Et est-ce que tu avais pleinement conscience de ce qui se passait, etc. Tu étais tout le temps aware à ce moment-là?
Oui, j'étais toujours conscient. Je travaille avec mon... excuse-moi. Sorry. Excuse me. Je travaille avec mon coach on parle pas juste que tout va bien aller. On parle de qu'est-ce qui peut arriver qui est mauvais pour moi. Et une des choses, c'est de se faire mal, de prendre une commotion, de se faire rock et des affaires comme ça. Il me dit tout le temps, si tu te fais rock, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Oui, je dis, OK, je dois faire de l'espace, retrouver ma respiration. I have to breathe well. Et gagner le prochain 15 secondes. Et le 15 secondes après ça. Et c'est ça que j'ai fait. Quand j'ai pris la distance, il a shooté sur moi. Guys, Aldo shot on me. Okay? I told everybody I was going to strike, I wasn't going to shoot. He shot on me. Okay? C'est lui qui est allé pour le takedown, il est allé pour la lutte. On savait, il y avait deux occasions où Aldo va essayer d'amener quelqu'un au sol. C'est quand il pense qu'il va gagner, il va le finir, ou quand il se fait mal. I know in training camp we figured out that Aldo only shoots on 2 occasions. One, if he thinks he can finish the fight, if he's got the guy hurt. And the other one is, if he got hurt, he shoots to try to recover. So when he shot when I was hurt, it was no surprise. And and we turned it around, and I was really happy that all that mindset training worked. Tout le travail qu'on a fait mentalement a vraiment travaillé pour moi.
Last one for me.
Oui.
You mentioned like someone between 1 and 9. Do you have some specific name?
Oui, j'ai demandé pour Marlon Vera. On va voir, je pense à un combat qui match bien style-wise. J'ai rien contre lui. It's a respectful call-out, guys. I don't have anything against the guy. I just think it's going to be an entertaining fight. We both like to strike, and I think we put on a great show for the fans. And that's half the sport is that.
And you talk about Marlon Vera. That's
Marlon Vera, yeah.
check.
I think
congratulations.
Marlon's matched up with Mario.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably out till September. He's fighting in a few weeks, right? No big deal. I mean, fights will be made.
Back here, congratulations.
Yeah,
Can
thank
you
you.
describe what it was like to have your name chanted in this building?
Oh, incredible. Guys, that's what I was hoping for the most. I got it in Edmonton for the first time in my life. And, some guys go their whole career and nobody ever chants their name in the arena. And I've fought a lot of times at the Apex. I absolutely love the Apex. We cannot get rid of it. But it is great, and it's a special feeling to have a moment like that when the crowd cheers your name. It felt incredible.
What did it mean to have GSP in the corner with your brother, and how did he maybe help you the most with this fight?
GSP helped me a lot because, he wanted me to finish. And he was excited for the fight, and throughout the fight, he was being involved. I thought he'd be more quiet. I thought he'd let Firas really lead the show. But in round 3, he was yelling me to go for it, and I went for it. Firas wanted me to take it more easy and like go for it closer to the end of the round. Then I ended up getting rocked. Maybe the rush St. Pierre came out. So I kind of went for it a little earlier in round 3 than maybe Firas would have liked. But listen, in the end, we got the win. It is what it is. It was great to have him. It's nice to have a world champion, one of the greatest of all time, believe that I could win the belt. He told me that I could make a title run, before the fight even started tonight. So I appreciate him a lot.
One last one, if I can. I know GSP likes to say there's no courage without fear.
Absolutely.
That third round, when was that a case of that where your courage overcame whatever, if you were feeling any fear at the time?
Yeah, that was my whole heart, guys. I dug deep into my heart and I found a way to come back, and that's what you can expect out of me from now on.
Aiman, right here.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned you wanted to start slow against Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Pretty brave game plan to want to do that.
Yeah.
Was that changed with the weight miss, or was that the plan all along?
No, it was with the weight miss. The plan was to be way more aggressive early. One of my teammates, Rob Font, fought Jose Aldo, and if you watch that fight, he was doing amazing, man. Until the last 10 seconds of round 1 when he got dropped, he was smoking him. And, I mean that respectfully. Like, he was just winning the round, and then he got dropped, man. And it is what it is, and Aldo hurt him. Aldo won the fight. But I wanted to do the same, but not get dropped at the end of the round. But then with the weight miss, I don't know. Like, listen, I don't know what happens to your brain when you dehydrate 8 pounds more than the other guy. So I took a safer route for round 1 just because of that, But the game plan wasn't that at first. We had to change the game plan because of the weight miss.
You mentioned Marlon Vera as a possible next opponent.
Yeah.
I mean, UFC are coming back to Canada a little bit later on.
Oh, I didn't know
this
that.
year, I think that's the plan anyway. But that's what I'm hearing.
We'll
But,
find out.
I mean, it would be a good slot for a main event if they were to do that.
Yeah, I would love it. You guys think I earned one? That would be great if I earned a main event. That'd be sick. I would love to do that. I absolutely love this. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've never been in the blue corner my whole life. In any MMA fight, boxing fight, Muay Thai fight, I've always been in the red corner. It's the first time I was in the blue corner. And I had to wait for Aldo to walk out. And then in the moment, I realized, you know what? I absolutely love this. And I walked over to my brother. I shook his hand. I told him I love this. I went over to GSP. I told him I love it in here. I went to Neil. I told him I love it in here. I walked over to Bruce Buffer. I shook his hand. I told him I love this shit. Then I went over to the referee. I told him I love this shit. And then Aldo came back. I couldn't wait for Aldo to get in the octagon. I absolutely couldn't wait for it.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you. I also want to say, just sorry, guys. Kenny Florian, I got him, baby. Okay? 14 years later, 13 years later, we did it. Okay? Kenny, I got you.
Besides having the hometown advantage of having the crowd absolutely lose their minds over you, are there any other advantages to fighting in the town that you train out of?
It's just nice that your friends and family can enjoy. But in
That
the end,
doesn't
guys.
psych you out having your wife there for the first time in 5 years.
No. I absolutely love her. I want her to be there. But it's just, in the end, it's only me and Aldo fighting. I've come to the conclusion where, like, that's why now she's back in the arena. I've overcome that, like, I don't know what you call it. How would you say that? Superstition, I guess, that she's there or whatever. She used to come to all my fights from 15 until COVID. Only COVID, she stopped coming. Then I got on the hot streak. I'm like, you can't come because I'm on a hot streak. It was basically a superstition. But my mindset coach, mindset Mike, helped me get over all that stuff. In the end, it's mano and mano. It's me and the other guy. That's it. Nothing else matters. Not the crowd, not the arena, not the location. I'm going to prepare to my best, and I'm going to fight with everything I have. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Shaw. I'm the Executive Vice President, Head of International and Content for the UFC. First, I'd like to say thanks to Yves Lalumière and the team from Tourism Montreal for all their support throughout UFC 315 this week, as well as France-Margaret Bélanger and the entire Canadians organization here at the Bell Center for hosting us. So the attendance tonight was 19,786. The gate was $6 million USD, which is 8.4 in CAD, the highest grossing event in arena history that's non-hockey. Fight of the night goes to Belal and Jack Della. The performances go to Jasmine and Marc-Andre Barriot. Oscar.
Just, look, Montreal has this reputation as this crazy fan city, and we come out tonight and you hear the fans' reactions to a lot of the hometown fighters. Talk to us about your feelings of the return to Montreal and the fans in attendance.
I think it was great. It was excellent. I was here for the Four Nations in February, and it was really, really loud, and I felt like tonight reached several levels like that. So first and foremost, just nice to be back in this building. It's an incredible sports building. It's a great sports town. It's a wonderful town to be in just generally. I had a couple observations. I mentioned it a bit earlier, but one of the things that we noticed from the press conference and the weigh-in was that it seemed like the average age was somewhere in kind of the low, maybe mid-20s. And so for us, that means a lot. There's a lot of people in this country, and in Quebec, rightly so, that hang on to GSP, as well as Cote and Val and a number of others, Hominick and Stout, and a bunch of others who built the foundation for MMA. The fact that we had probably largely 20-year-olds who were in the press conference and at the weigh-ins really meant to us that the fan base is now almost not recycling, but it's growing. There's a new tier of fans that are supporting us here in Montreal and in Canada, and that meant a lot. I also thought that the support that we got from the city was great all week, and some of the activations that were conducted just meant like it was a really nice return to Montreal after a long time.
You mentioned the new age of fans. There's also a new age of fighters in Jasmine and Mike. And I'm reminded of when we went back to London after COVID, you had all the English fighters rattle off wins and you felt like this new swell of MMA. I don't think it's unfair to say Canada MMA has been lacking for a little while. Did you feel like tonight was maybe a turning point in that relationship with MMA in this country? And do you think it can build off tonight and return to Canada with more and more cards moving forward?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, between Aiman and Jazz and Mike, the performances there were incredible. Saying the torch has been passed is a little bit cliche, but I think that these guys have put in a lot of work in the last few years. Some have had setbacks, some haven't. But the performances tonight certainly catapult them into the next sort of tier, next chapter of MMA in this country.
As we're sort of just starting to ramp up the events in Canada, but do you see Montreal moving forward as a fixture of the calendar year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for us in our minds, Montreal is a pay-per-view city. And so there are a number of pay-per-view cities in Canada. We're trying to get back to maybe 3 events a year. So it's it certainly won't be as long as it's been before we return.
Right. Obviously, the big story is Canada and all the superstars they had come out of this card. But, you have another Australian champion in Jack now. So I know you guys, there's these rumors of these Perth fight nights and everything. But is there even a possibility of Jack, maybe making that a pay-per-view now? Because Jack seems like it was great to have Volk fight there, but now to have a champion from Perth as an actual possibility.
Yeah. I mean, it absolutely could be. I had the entire Australia team texting tonight and be like, so what are we going to do in the next pay-per-view in Perth? So we've got lots of support, I think, as everyone knows, from Tourism Western Australia. The events that we've had at the RAC Arena have been fantastic, 100%.
Just last one for me, Jose Aldo, basically just said he doesn't really have it in him to do this anymore. So just what was your reaction to seeing, we've seen it before, but this just seemed a little more emotional than the last time he decided to hang it up.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I was confused or he just sort of ran out of gas, but, that flurry that had the kick followed by Aiman's sort of crunch on the close side, at least on Dana's side of the octagon, I was confused at, at what point did he either run out of gas or did he get smoked, because he kind of went from being on full offense to now on defense, and then clearly ran out of steam at the end of the fight. What's my reaction? I mean, he's King of Rio. He's one of the most important athletes we've had in our sport. He, despite an illustrious career, you know, has had these fights where he's you know, absolutely looked like he's got it. Like he came to fight. First couple rounds, like we were all so impressed. I mean, this is a decision that he's got to make for himself, for his family. But no matter what he decides, he's leaving a really important legacy in not only Brazil but the world of MMA. Long live WEC.
Dave, right here. I think a lot of people are expecting Dana to come to the press conference tonight. And maybe
Lunch
make
bag letdown, huh?
No, but maybe make it. I mean, do you have an International Fight Week announcement for us? I guess I think that's what a lot of
I
people-
don't. I mean, I can give you the standard. You got to wait till Tuesday. But no, listen. I mean, Dana talked about it in the press conference on Thursday. There were a few different scenarios that he laid out. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know what the decision is, but I suspect you'll hear more this week.
Yeah, just had to ask.
Of course.
Thanks. Obviously, Marc-Andre, Jazz, Mike Malott, Aiman, a lot of momentum here for Canada. We've heard rumors about another Canadian date in the fall. Is there any update on that front? Because that would seem like a landing spot for at least some of them.
The update is that we will have a date. The lack of update is that we don't have a date to disclose, nor do we have a city to disclose. But we're actively working on it. Not going to happen in the summer. So we're looking at the fall, October, November.
Sounds good. And there was kind of a weird situation this week with Alex Pereira coming out and a tweet that he put out saying he was unhappy with the UFC, and then he turned around and said, "Oh, I was hacked," and then DC came out and pretty much called him a liar. So I'm just wondering,
Really?
is everything good on the Peloton front?
I don't know anything about that. That's funny. I mean, I assume everything's good. Yeah, I haven't heard it otherwise.
And then last one for me, just talking about Jasmine in particular. She says she wants to be #1 ranked next year, and coming off a performance like that over Jessica Andrade, do you see that as a possibility? You think she can do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, in talking to Sean and Mick after the fight, and one of the decisions that went into, I think, her getting the performance bonus was the fact that, you know, she really just handled Andrade. Didn't give her a chance to do anything. So the performance was remarkable. Former champ against a legend. Yeah, I mean, she's going to just continue to rise the ranks. I'm not sure I can't really like sort of place where she's going to be or what the next fight's going to be, but she's demonstrated, and her body of work has demonstrated that she's put herself in a position to have another big fight.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just a quick question about Nassourdine. We heard rumors
About
from
Nassourdine?
Yeah, because unfortunately it doesn't go well for Manon. But we heard rumors from Caio Borralho, who said that he will face Nassourdine next. But Nassourdine just won against Adesanya, who was better ranked. What's next for him? Do you have information? Will he fight for a title shot next, or can we wait for something else like the Caio Borralho fight?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't have information on his next fight. We had some pretty incredible support from our partners in France this week in Montreal, especially from RMC, who not only supported the athletes on the card but created a bunch of great content to continue to lift. Like, this was a calculated decision, right? Like, we wanted to bring as many French athletes, whether you were Quebecois or you were from France, to compete on this card. We thought it meant a lot, the impact it could have in the city, the ability for us to promote and sell tickets, which obviously, you know, that thesis worked out well. But you know, in terms of what's next for Nassourdine, I don't know, other than, you know, we really want to get back to Paris. And so the hope is that we're going to be back in Paris at some point later this year. And if we can't, then definitely early next year, because we've had 3 straight events at the Accor Arena that have been a massive success.
It will be difficult to have a title shot in a fight night, because Paris, it's only fight night for now.
Done it before.
Yeah, I know.
Before.
So it's not impossible to have a title shot for a fight night.
Yeah, or maybe it becomes a pay-per-view. There's a lot of different scenarios.
Thank you.
But I can't comment on what's next for Nassourdine, other than I was there in Riyadh when he beat Izzy, and he looked incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Manon had a good performance, even though she lost. Is that a potential problem for having a next event in Paris? The fact that
Nope.
she didn't win the title, there's no connection between these two things?
No, I think between sort of the bona fide stars, whether it's Cyril, Manon, Benoit, Nassourdine, or some of the rising stars, Taylor, Faraz, and others, Nora, we feel really confident that whether Manon won or lost tonight, the objective of getting back to Paris doesn't change.
What do you think of her performance?
Of Manon's performance, it was great. I mean, you're up against a mercenary. You're up against a absolute certified. I mean, she's a bona fide. She is one of the best of all time. I thought Manon was great. I thought she held her own and she battled hard. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than like she took her to the limit and she nearly won the fight. All right, thanks everybody. Take care.
Valentina, right here. Congratulations on another successful defense. I'm curious, just how did that fight play out in there compared to what you expected and what you had prepared for against Manon?
It's hard to say like what you expect because I feel people sometimes expecting like they do knockout submissions in the first round, but it's you have to be ready for the hardest battle. So I feel that this is a very correct approach because if you're ready for maximum and when it's like finishing the first round, then you kind of like, okay, I was getting ready for at least like all 5 rounds. But I knew coming into the fight that it's gonna be hard fight because my opponent Manon, she for a reason got into this challenge for the belt, and all her she's 12-0, right? And it's also for a reason. So it's speak by you cannot expect some like easy fight from this kind of person.
Seems in the first round when it looked like you broke her nose pretty early, or at least damaged the nose. Did you feel that was a big turning point in the fight because it seemed to take her out of her game for a while?
This is a fight. This is what we are like. Every fighters, when we step inside of the octagon, we kind of expecting that it's probably sooner or later might happen, something gonna be broke. And it's better when you broke something than you had that.
A lot of the narrative on the broadcast was how big Manon looked compared to you. Like she just looked taller and stronger. Did she feel stronger in there when you guys would clinch up?
She felt a little bit slippery for me. It's very hard for me to say that. No, I cannot say that I had like problems with the size-wise because fighting in bantamweight, I fought like Amanda, she's a bigger. I fought Holly Holm, she's a bigger fighter. Juliana Pena, but in that time, I was a little bit bigger weight class, but now, definitely she's a strong fighter, and I think we had good fight.
And then the last one for me, I don't know if you've seen, and I have to ask, Weili's already sent her message out to you. She said congratulations, and then everything's lined up, and then it's destiny that you two face. So I guess is that a fight you'd be interested in? Do you have a response for Weili?
Oh, now I coming to to here. So everyone was saying like Weili or Natalia, like another contender. So I don't know. I just like wanna maybe fans can play some role in that, and if they can join my OnlyFans page and drop some messages who they wanna see me fight next. So I think it's gonna be. We will compare who's next.
Just a quick one right here. I think a lot of people were expecting the crowd to really get behind Manon because she was French and we're in a French-speaking province, but there were a lot of Valentina chants. What did you think of the crowd reaction tonight?
I love all the crowd. I love Montreal because we come a little bit early before the fight, and we had opportunity to explore the city. It's really beautiful with all architecture, with all parks, nature, very gorgeous. And I'm happy that we had this opportunity to come during the springtime because now it's everything so beautiful. And I just feel that here fans in Montreal, they are really appreciate mixed martial arts and they know true art of fighting.
And I know you said you're kind of going to maybe leave this up to the fans a little, who they want you to fight next. But in terms of what's best for your legacy, would Weili mean a little more to you?
Probably yes, and considering all that title defense that I already have in flyweight. And but it's kind of like for me now, after the fight, you got a victory, your belt is with you. It's so much like you have this still adrenaline running and everything like that. And to answer exact question, I would prefer to take it with the 1 or 2 day when I will rest. I don't say about I mean about the timing, because it's very important to have proper recovery and get into the next training camp with full power. So it's mostly about time-wise.
Thank you.
Valentina, this was your 10th win in a UFC title fight tonight, and you join a group of fighters with 10 wins in UFC title fights that includes John Jones, George St. Pierre, Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva, and Amanda Nunes. What does it mean to you to be in a group with those kind of names?
I'm still keep going. I'm not stopping. It's just the beginning.
Love it. Thank you.
Hello, Valentina, and congratulations on the win. You two made a huge battle. It was a war. You gave everything in the cage. Did you expect to dominate a bit more, or was she stronger than you expected?
As I mentioned, knowing that it's gonna be challenge, I every time expecting the most. It's I was very confident in my striking, in my distance, and my feeling distance. So this is very important because you can be good at striking, but you can completely not feel distance, and you have a wrong approach, and that's why it's kind of it's very important to have this feeling. And I am very confident. I'm very rely on my natural skills plus what we are working with my coach Pavel Fedotov, and it's kind of I expected hard battle. And it was hard battle, and I won.
Yeah, you were the best woman tonight. Do you feel Manon gave enough to be proud of her performance?
I don't know. I probably you have to ask her this question. But I hope so that she feels good about her performance because looks like she did everything what she could.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. Manon threw a lot of kicks at the beginning of the fight, but it seemed totally inefficient. You could always find a way to just counter it. How much did you work on that? How much were you expecting? Because she comes from karate. How much did you expect those kicks coming in? And how did you work to stop that strength of hers?
Mm-hmm. When I right after the fight, I spoke to DC, and he asked me the question very similar about fighting the softball, and same answer. During my fighting career, my main partner, one of the main partners, was my sister, and she's softball, and her kicks and her punches it's uncomparable. So the speed, the power, and everything, and being like working with her during all these years, it's kind of like now when Manon throw the kicks, I kind of like see them from the very, very far.
Yeah, thank you. Valentina, congratulations on the win, and as Mike said, congratulations on being one of the best UFC champions we have. One of the things that doesn't get talked about enough is your incredible dancing. It seems fitting to ask you, since we're in Montreal, will you and your team be hitting one of the late-night dance clubs so you can let out some more of those amazing moves of yours?
I don't know. Actually, like for me, dancing, it was a very huge part always, because when I started my martial arts, it was like parallel. I was dancing and fighting, but then it turned like more fighting than dancing. But I still trying to have at least like few moves during the fight. But in my free time and spare time, if I'm not too sore tomorrow, probably, yeah, I will ask for this opportunity.
Congratulations, Valentina. One question, how do you stay motivated after all these wins to stay at the top, and what's drive you like a challenge for the future today as so many wins? Because it's hard to understand what's drive you again and again into this cage.
I feel when you love something, what you do, you don't have extra motivation to have. You don't have to have extra motivation in terms of money, in terms of like number of to win belts or something like that. You just do what you love, and you are trying to be the best in what you are doing. And I started to do martial arts when I was 5. Now, after like 32 years, I keep doing what like I started back then, and surrounded by amazing people who helping me all the time. Definitely my family, my coach Pavel, our friends, my training partners, like from El Paso, from Las Vegas, Andrade Muay Thai, Zen martial arts, culture from New Jersey. Here we met like good new friends from 3-Star Academy. And I feel like all this together combination, this is already motivation. And when you feel this joy and you have these people in your life that bring joy, it's kind of like the best feeling ever that anyone can have. And I would like to add one more thing to be very clear. So before the fight, Manon throws that if she won, I retire. I respond her, if I won, she retire. So I completely don't want her retire. So this is what I really don't want her to follow her words, because I feel it's unfair for the fighter because of some like I don't know, someone put in her mouth to promote the fight or something like that, and now she will be like feeling that she has to retire. No, I completely like, no, yeah, don't follow your words. Please stay fighting. Thank you.
Let's keep this short and sharp.
Places to be. First of all, congratulations on the victory. You know, it was a bit of a war in there. I don't know if people would have maybe expected that from Belal, but what were you expecting it from him?
Yeah, I was expecting a tough fight. Obviously, he's a good fighter, pressure fighter, good wrestling, good. He's pretty well rounded. So yeah, I was expecting a tough fight.
Were you surprised perhaps that he didn't go for as much grappling exchanges or takedowns as we usually see from him?
Not really. I mean, he was saying he wasn't going to shoot takedowns, but I was expecting a I guess a all-round offense, and yeah, I guess you can never expect anything. You just got to roll with it, and that's I feel like what I did.
I felt like most of your best exchanges were sort of in the pocket against the fence. Was that an area you knew you were going to find yourself in, or was you just going with the flow of the fight?
Going with the flow. I was trying to. The game plan was to stay off the fence. I feel like he does his best work on the fence, so I was trying to stay off the fence. But he was just walking down, pushing me up against the fence. But I felt like my footwork. I felt like every time he came in, I was able to hit him and then get off the fence.
Fifth round, it looked like you had him badly hurt. I was curious if you felt you nearly had him out of there and then you just wanted to gauge your cardio. What were you thinking in that fifth round?
Yeah, I was hoping to get him out of there. I was been thinking all week it'd be cool to get that like late fight finish, like the Gilbert Burns. Like it felt good to rally through and then take him out at the end. But I tried.
Confident you had the win when he went to the judges?
You never know. But I was confident they'd done pretty good work. But I guess you never know when you leave it to the judges. My corner when I finished the fight, I asked the corner a few times and they said, yep, you definitely won that. So just waiting and see, but you never know.
Did you exchange much words with Dana in the ring? I saw you talking for a little bit.
I spoke to Dana on the phone after the fight.
And what did he say?
He was happy, you know. He was happy. I mean, happy for me, not happy for that Belal lost or anything. Just happy for me, and yeah, I guess we'll see what they think's next.
Yeah, two more quick ones for me. It does seem like Islam's on Twitter already saying it's time to be double champion and all the rest of it. So it seems like you are the fight he wants. Do you think that's the one that makes the most sense?
I think that a lot of good welterweights. Obviously, I think Islam's what he's done is probably given him. I think he deserves the shot if he wants to step up. But I guess that's not my call. It's up to the UFC.
And last one for me, a little bit outside of tonight. Back to the press conference on Thursday. Someone asked you about Ian Gary's son giving you M&Ms. You had an interesting comment to make. I wonder if you wanted to expand on that.
I mean, I said what I said, and that's what I think.
Jack, you're here. The conditions for this fight, not ideal, right? Like the long layoff coming from injuries and stuff, far travel. How much more gratifying is the win knowing that you went through a lot of stuff coming into this?
Yeah, it was obviously not ideal, but I felt like, honestly, from hindsight, I think the layoff was good, you know. Got the fire going again, got back in the gym, worked on stuff, but I think the layoff was good. Otherwise, I would have just been hammering out fights. So a bit of a layoff, and then we can get back on the horse.
Yeah, and I know you said coming in, you did a lot of visualization. How did the reality of what unfolded tonight and your feelings compare to all the visualization leading in?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be a tough fight. It was a tough fight. I feel like I confused him with the footwork. Just thinking back, I have to watch it back. I believed I could stuff the takedowns. I believe I did that. So yeah, it all worked out well. And yeah, the feeling of winning the belt, I've tried to visualize it, but obviously, yeah, the moment is it was a special thing to get the belt.
Yeah, and I mean, thinking about an Islam fight, I mean, how much do you think you showed that maybe him and his team will kind of be worried about, and like how you were able to stop certain things with Belal in there? Do you think this is a great foundation for a fight like that?
Yeah, Islam's I think it's a good practice match for Islam.
And I guess just last thing, what would it kind of say about you if you can go in a 2-fight span from not being the champion to beating Belal, who I think is, you know, up there in pound for pound, to beating the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world?
It's a pretty good, good run, you know. But it's just the beginning. I think beating Islam would be just, this is just the beginning.
Jack, over here. I know it's still fresh. You've only been the champion for, I think, less than an hour or so. But I guess looking forward, like, what do you want your title reign to look like? Like, do you want, like, these super fights? Do you want to just stay active and rack up the rubies? What would be the ideal title reign for you?
Yeah, racking up the rubies. I wanted to get some finishes, you know. I really was trying to get the finish, but it'd be nice to be a champion that gets back-to-back finishes. But obviously I couldn't get it tonight, but we'll go back to the drawing board, keep working, and I think there'll be a lot of stuff to take away from this fight, and next fight you'll see a better version of me.
And Dave Shaw was in here, and I asked, Australia has another champion. They're supposed to do a fight night in Perth, and he said like there is a world where that could become a pay-per-view now that Western Australia has a champion. So is that going to be something you're going to be pushing for?
I think it makes sense. Obviously, Volk and Islam fought in Perth a couple of years ago, and that was a great fight, and yeah, people think Volk, it was a very close fight. Volk did good, so I think it makes sense. A bit of a story there, and obviously, yeah, Perth blew the roof off RAC, and I think if we could do it with the hometown kid defending the belt, would be even better.
And Islam's already tweeted at you a few times, and like the most recent one, he says, "You're not Volk. I'll show you there at different levels. Keep my belt clean." Do you have any response to Islam?
No, come get it. Come get it.
And just last one for me. Obviously, that belt specifically has a lot of history in this arena specifically. George St. Pierre's obviously been around. Have you had a chance to talk to him or meet him at all throughout this week?
He even just before we walked out, he came into the locker room, and just to, I guess, be in the same room with him is pretty cool, especially in this building. And yeah, he's obviously done great things with this belt, so just to be able to get the belt here, it's exciting stuff, and I think it's the start of another good reign. Sick. Thank you.